Hi, and thanks for checking out my video. Today we're going to pick up where we left off in the last video, and we will be adding 4 rooms of audio to the living room project that we previously created. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm already connected to the system, and we're going to start by adding 4 rooms to which we will have speakers in. So we're going to come over to the right hand side, and it doesn't matter which one of these icons that you choose. These are a placeholder. Nobody ever sees them except for you. So if you like this for the room, we can use that icon. If you like this for a room, we can use that icon. So we'll just kind of pick a couple different ones so we'll have weird, different looking icons. And we'll come over here and we're going to rename these to be the rooms that we want them to be. So we have a kitchen, we already have a living room, maybe we have a patio with speakers, maybe we have a master bedroom, and maybe we have a kitchen and a dining room. So those give us 4 more rooms where we're going to have audio. Now, when we do these Control 4 projects, we use a 4 or 8 zone matrix amplifier provided by Control 4. So we're going to go ahead and jump on the right hand side and find the matrix amplifier. So you'll see here the powered amplifiers. Now these are just straight amplifiers. If you choose one of these, you're not going to have the ability to matrix it, and it's not going to be what you're looking for. So the 4 zone amplifier is here. The 8 zone or 16 channel, don't ask me why they just didn't call it 8 zone, is listed right up above it. So we're going to go ahead and pick this 4 zone amplifier, and we're going to add it into the project. Now it doesn't matter where you add it into the project, because I like to build, because of like how I like to build things, I like to leave it in the living room where all the other equipment's listed. But it really doesn't matter where you add it. So we've added this amplifier. Now we want to make it so that this amplifier works in the rooms that we've listed below. So we're going to click on Connections. Inside of Connections, we're going to scroll down and find the amplifier. I think it's easiest if you start with the amplifier and work to each of the rooms instead of having to go to each individual room. So room selection 1. So the first zone, we'll just go in this order. It doesn't matter what order you go in. You just need to go in the same order that you hook it up on the back of the amplifier. So room selection 1, the audio selection is going to be the audio endpoint for the patio. And the audio volume is going to be the audio volume for the patio. Room selection number 2, the room audio selection is going to go to the master bedroom audio endpoint. The volume is going to the master bedroom audio volume. Selection number 3 is going to go to the kitchen audio selection, kitchen audio endpoint. Audio volume, I'm going to scroll down here, audio volume to the kitchen audio volume 1. Room number 4 is going to be the dining room. The audio selection is going to be the audio endpoint for the dining room. And the audio volume is going to be audio volume number 1 for the dining room. So now we've connected up these rooms. On the back of the amplifier, Zone 1, the 2 speakers that are connected are going to be the patio. Zone 2, the 2 speakers that are connected are going to be the master bedroom. Zone 3, the 2 speakers connected are going to be the kitchen. Zone 4, the 2 speakers connected are going to be the dining room. So you need to make the same connections on the back of the amplifier. You'll see these stereo outputs. You don't need to mess with these. These aren't, we're not going to use those. Now let's talk about inputs. Where is this amplifier going to receive audio from? So we're going to hook this up to the HC250. So I'm going to drag it down and I'm going to connect it to the HC250. You'll see that the HC250 is connected to the receiver and the amplifier audio input 1. So here's what's going to happen. Anytime your customer chooses a Pandora or a TuneIn, any of these digital media services that are provided by the HC250, it's going to send it out of the HC250 into the audio input and then out on any of these that you choose to have it go out to. Now, if you said, Rob, we need to have 2 audio sources, we want to be able to have Pandora and something else, we could either go in and add a second HC250 to get an additional audio out, or we could go ahead and add a speaker point to get an additional audio out. The other thing that is, if you're going to have 2 HC250s because you want 2 audio outs, it's cheaper to just go ahead and put in an HC800 and you get more functionality. So as it's set up now, we are able to control audio in these 4 rooms. We've still got to do one more thing though. We're going to go to a network, and inside network, we have to put in the IP address or select the UUID for the device. So you can see here, this is my 16 channel or 8 zone 16 channel amp that's in my house. If I had chosen a 16 channel, I would be able to drag and drop this into the project so that I could control it. So that's the last step there. Now let's talk about something a little bit different. Let's go ahead and talk about AirPlay now. AirPlay is an awesome feature, and if a customer wants AirPlay, now we're going to go ahead and instead of putting in an HC250, we're going to put in an HC800. The HC800 natively supports AirPlay, and I'm going to show you how to set it up right now. It's pretty awesome. So first we're going to delete out this controller. Now, there were a couple things that this controller was connected to. We had IR going to the TV, we have IR going to the Comcast cable box, and then we have a HDMI cable going to the receiver. So when we put in the new controller, we're going to have to do all of that. So yes, we're going to delete it. It's going to disappear. I'm going to jump back over here, and drivers, we're going to look for an 800. There's the HC800. We're going to add it into the project. We'll give it a second for it to show up. Going a little bit slow. It's almost there. It's trying. There we go. So now we have an HC800, and I'm actually going to put the 250 back in the project because it doesn't like not having the 250 because originally we were creating this on a real network. So I'm going to reconnect that HC250 just so that it's happy. Okay, so we added in an HC800. So here's what we gain when we add in the HC800. We've got more audio outs on the back of it. So we've got 2 audio outs now, and we can now do AirPlay. So I'm going to go to connections. I'm going to go to the control connections. And on this HC800, if we had just done this project with only an HC800, we would have needed an IR out to go to the TV, an IR out to go to Comcast cable. All right, we would have needed the HDMI to go out to the receiver, and I pretty much always put it on the PC input. That's just kind of my standard answer. But now you see we've got these optical and digital audio outputs. This is awesome. So I'm going to take one of the audio outputs, and I'm going to connect it up to our amp. I'm going to take another audio output. I'm going to hook it up to the amp. And this first audio output, I'm also going to hook it up to the receiver on TV CD. So now I've got a pathway for the HC800 to talk to each of the receiver and our multi-zone amp. And then last but not least, I'm going to connect this digital input to the amplifier. So now I've got 3 different audio sources coming out the back of this HC800. This is awesome. This means that you're going to be able to do 3 different types of things in these different rooms or in the living room. To include AirPlay. So now that we've got this HC800 working, let's go back to system design, and we're going to start adding in AirPlay. AirPlay is called the Share Bridge. Fortunately, Share has air in it, so whenever I look up AirPlay, I find Share Bridge, thank the Lord. So I'm going to double click Share Bridge, and I'm going to add this into the project. Now again, you cannot have Share Bridge unless you have an HC800. So with the Share Bridge, you're going to add as many drivers as you want share bridge options. So I'm going to put in like 5 or 10. Let's see. Let's put in a handful of them. Okay. So the way that I like to do it is I'm going to put one share bridge in every room because it's just going to make it easier, and I'll show you why. And we got some extras, and I'll show you what we do with the extras. Okay, so for this first share bridge, I'm going to rename this to living room. Whatever you type here is what's going to show up on the customer's iPhone. So it says living room. Right now it says the driver is not supported on this controller. Again, you have to have an HC800 as the primary controller in the project for AirPlay to work. The broadcast name. You don't have to put anything in here. Whatever you type here will be the broadcast name unless you type something in for the broadcast name. So I don't like to do anything. I don't like to change it because I feel like I'd have to type it twice. So auto rooms. If this one is called the living room, then when the customer AirPlays to the living room, it needs to turn on the living room. So auto room select, hit the select button and pick the room that you want it to turn on. So if you AirPlay to the living room, it's going to turn on the living room. I'm going to set that. Now let's go to the patio. This is share bridge number 2. We're going to rename that and we're going to call it patio. Because again, whatever you type here is what the customer is going to see. So let's jump over here. Automatic room select. We want, when you AirPlay to patio, what do we want to turn on? The patio. So let's call it the patio. Okay? We're going to set it. Let's jump down to the next one. Let's rename it. We want to call this the master bedroom. And we're going to automatically have it turn on what? We want it to turn on the master bedroom. We're going to set the master bedroom. Let's jump down now to the kitchen. We're going to rename it kitchen, if I can spell. All right. What room do we want it to turn on? We want it to turn on the kitchen and set it. All right. Last but not least, dining room. Let's rename the dining room and let's call this the, if I can type, oops, not digital media, Rob. That's what I get for trying to go fast. The dining room. And what room do we want it to turn on? We want it to turn on the dining room. Now, you're probably starting to think, Rob, why do we have this extra one up here? Well, this extra one starts to become really cool. And I'm not going to have an extra one. I'm going to have an extra maybe 3. We'll use 3 for now. It doesn't matter in what room they are, but just to keep it nice and neat, I'm going to put them underneath the living room one. I like to keep that, the main bulk of the stuff in one room. So let's rename this. I'm going to call this the entire house. All right. I'm going to call this one the dining and kitchen. I'm going to call this one the first floor. So, under the entire home, under auto room select, I want this to turn on the entire house. That's what's so cool about this. It's now going to AirPlay to everywhere in the house just by AirPlaying to this one thing called entire home. For the dining and the kitchen room, I want it to AirPlay to the kitchen and the dining room. Hit the OK button, hit the set button. Bam, when you AirPlay to dining and kitchen room, it's going to turn on the dining and the kitchen. When you AirPlay to the first floor, it's going to turn on, let's say, the living room, the patio, the kitchen, and the dining room. Let's say it's everything but the master bedroom because that's on the second floor by itself. Okay, done, set. That's it. AirPlay is set up. It now works for the customer. It now shows up for the customer. You don't have to do any more programming. You are completely done. The customer will be able to AirPlay up to 3 different locations at any given time. And that the limiting factor on the number of locations is the HC800. Now, if we had a HC250 also, that would give us a 4th AirPlay option because we have the one audio out on the HC250. It can be a secondary in a project, but to AirPlay, it cannot be the primary. So, hopefully this has been helpful, and hopefully now you know how to set up a 4-zone amplifier and how to set up AirPlay for different rooms. Thanks for checking out my video. Have a great day.